Welcome back. Hope you're having a good morning. Well, in the last few minutes, the SGX Nifty is suggesting a little bit of a better start because it's up close to around 40 points as we speak. But there are plenty of stocks to focus on, and our research team is standing by with CNBC-TV18's top stocks for the day. Well, Sonia, there was an acquisition that came overnight. Samvardhana Motherson looks good, right? 5.3 times EV per EBITDA.
It looks good and it looks big. Finally, there's a sizable acquisition that Samvardhana Motherson has made. So let me just take you through the acquisition details. The company has acquired 100% stake in a company called SAS Auto System Technique. Now, SAS is a global provider of cockpit module assemblies for the auto industry. Now, the enterprise value is 4,800 crores, and the acquisition, the company says, is EPS accretive from day one itself. The revenue of SAS is about a little under 8,000 crores, which is 10% of Motherson's overall revenue. So it's a sizable acquisition. And even the EBITDA margins. Now, SAMIL, which is the entity which bought SAS, operates in margins of 6 to 8.5%. But the EBITDA margins of the acquired company is 11.5%. So perhaps the blended margins would rise as well. That's the expectation. The acquisition, though, will be funded through internal accruals as well as debt. And that's the only question that we need to ask the management. Remember, they're sitting on a net debt of almost 8,440 crores. Will they be taking on more debt? If yes, how much are they comfortable with? So all of that are questions that need to be answered. But I think this is a very good acquisition because currently 6% of Samvardhana Motherson's revenues come from electric vehicle space. And SAS, which is the acquired company, has a huge presence in EVs globally, in China, in the US, etc. So this will help increase their electric vehicle OEM exposure. Elara Capital put out a note where they said it will add about 12.5% to Samvardhana's existing FY24 EBITDA. So I'm going with green on the stock.
Okay, all right. Well, and you can also catch the top management of Samvardhana Motherson on Bazaar today at around 9:50 a.m. We'll quiz them on the rationale, the funding, as well as what are the synergy benefits. So stay tuned for that. But let's get to the auto ancillary space, which was buzzing pre-call. Well, there was a large trade that took place. Nimesh joins in to give us an update on how that battle is shaping up. Nimesh?
Hi, Nigel. So, the post-market data from Blockdeal, suggests a very interesting, details. So, one, it gives a confirmation that Minda has managed to acquire 1.9 crore shares, which is 15.6% in pre-call. Now, in terms of big sellers, Adios India Fund, Minerva Emerging Market Fund, and Stream Value Fund, they were the three large sellers in the block deal to Minda Corp. The funds who didn't participate in the block deal, the two domestic mutual funds, Quant Mutual Fund and Aditya Birla Mutual Fund, and Nomura Singapore, these three funds didn't participate. Now, the PHI Capital, which owns 5.7% in pre-call and equally owns 5% in Minda Corp as well, that will be a key trigger as to which way the deal swings, is my understanding. The pre-call management still has a support of close to 11.5% of institutional investors. Remember, in the interview on Friday, they said they have a support of 16%. So that's come down to now 11.5. If PHI Capital and mutual funds go in favor of Minda Corp, then Minda Corp can increase the stake to 25.3%. Slightly over of 25%, which can help them to trigger an open offer as well. So, there are a few things to watch out for. Whether these funds will swing in favor of Minda. I believe Minda Corp is holding a investor call as well in the evening. And what is the next step for pre-call? These are a few things to be answered. But the block deal data do suggest that confirmation of Minda Corp acquiring 15.6%, and there is just 11.5% support for pre-call now from institutional investors.
Okay, and a lot of synergies, as we know and as we've been covering, between Minda and Precall, as they both operate in the same space. Precall has a large presence in EVs as well. But let's go across to Ekta now to talk about Cipla and why she's watching that one this morning. Ekta, over to you.
Thanks for that. Well, Cipla is in focus because the US FDA has issued 8 observations to their Indore facility, which was inspected in the month of Feb, ended on the 17th of Feb in terms of an inspection. The street is watching the nature of the observations because the Form 483 comes with a lag. The nature of the observations are not disclosed at this point in time. If in case it is adverse, then the street is fearing that one of the key inhalers, Advair generic, which is filed from this particular facility, could then be delayed. Remember that the Goa plant did receive a warning letter in 2019, and that eventually delayed a Brixon generic, which is a cancer drug, into FY25 according to analysts. INCRED says that both the products, which is Advair generic as well as a Brixon, could see a worse competitive landscape if in case they are launched 1 year later, which is in FY25. They've maintained a hold with a target price of 130, which they've reduced at this point in time. So for Cipla, we could expect the stock to be in the red only because of the number of observations that the Indore facility has received.
All right, Ekta, thanks very much for that. That's Cipla in focus. But more stocks with news flow. Surabhi is here with that list. Surabhi, hi, morning.
Hi, two sets of news for United Breweries, one negative and one mildly positive. The negative is that the company's MD and CEO, Rishi Pardal, has announced its resignation on Feb 16th. The other news flow is the Supreme Court has stayed the proceedings to recover the 750 crore penalty that was imposed by the Competition Commission of India. Now, just to alert, in 2021, CCI had imposed a penalty of 750 crores on the company on the charges of cartelization, and in December 2022, NCLAT had upheld the order. Now, Supreme Court has agreed to hear the company's plea against the CCI penalty. Now, the decision can go either way, but for now, this penalty has been postponed. Next one on my radar is CRISIL, where the company has reported its Q4 numbers, and they were quite good. The revenue is up 16% at 822 crores, and the PBT margins have remained constant at 25%. Their rating services revenue growth was subdued, up only 9%, and the margins came in at 40% versus 41% same time last year. Their research and analytics division, that has led to most of their revenue growth. There, the revenue was up 26%, and the margins have expanded by 300 basis points at 22% versus 19% same time last year.
Okay, thanks for that, Surabhi. Well, Sonal joins in as well to tell us about some more stocks in the news. Morning, Sonal.
Good morning, Nigel. Well, a lot of order wins that we got over the weekend. Let me start with KEC because the company won an order worth 3,032 crore rupees. It's across their civil, transmission and development and cables business. Power Grid has been declared as a successful bidder for 5 projects under tariff-based competitive bidding, and this is to establish interstate transmission systems. So that stock is in focus as well. RITES has secured a new EPC work. This is worth 76 crore rupees for provision of EI-based automatic signaling in Dholpur Gwalior section, that's in the Northern Railway section. Pennar has won orders worth 851 crore rupees. It is across various segments, including the likes of railways, tubes, steel, inland container depots as well. Supreme Industry is in focus because they finally commissioned their Cuttack facility. They had indicated in Q3 results that that will happen soon. The initial capacity is 16,800 tons with a capex of 90 crore rupees. Once all the machinery is set, it can reach to levels of 43,200 metric tons as well. And this unit would manufacture plastic piping products. So these 5 stocks on my radar today.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Well, here's a quick recap then of our top stocks in case you missed out on any of them. Stocks with positive news flow. There's Samvil or Samvardhan Motherson. There's Precall, CRISIL, KEC, Power Grid, Supreme Industries, Pennar Industries and RITES. While stocks with negative news flow, there's Cipla as well as United Breweries. But as we were telling you earlier, there's a big drop in crude. Brent crude prices are now, I think, back to $83 a barrel. All this hawkish Fed speak has resulted in some concerns about consumption and demand. Manisha Gupta is joining in for a roundup of all the action that took place overnight. Manisha, good morning.
Thank you for that, Sonia. Well, yes, the crude oil prices have declined by 5% in the previous week, and this is, as you said, hotter than expected. U.S. data has fanned concerns of high rate hikes going forward. The U.S. crude inventories also are the highest since the month of October, and in addition to that, the U.S. will release 26 million barrels from the SPR as well. And not just crude, the U.S. natural gas prices also are trading at a 28-month lows, and we've seen the prices decline by 10% in the previous week for this one as well. Higher than usual inventories and mild weather seem to be weighing on natural gas prices also. Same reason why you have the heating oil prices trading at a 1-year low. Even the U.S. gasoline prices are trading at a 6-month lows right now. So overall, energy pack continues to be in the negative today.
Okay, Manisha, thank you very much for that. We'll take a quick commercial break here. We get chatting with Anand Tandon, of course, on markets, his thoughts on where he sees things going. And, of course, we'll also have the Chief Executive Officer at Phenolics Industries. We reported the third quarter numbers and we speak with them about the quarter gone by and the quarter we are in. Stay with us.